Welcome to TMI, a podcast by Henry Ford Allegiance Health. Today, we have a nice, relaxing episode of TMI, something to get you, ready for the new year. All the busy stuff is kind of over with now, and time to kind of take control and do stuff. So in the studio, we have Andrew here as my co-host. Andrew, how you doing?
Hi, Dave. Doing great.
Doing good. I like it when you're on the show because I know we're going to be talking about something that's kind of, good for you and actually something I don't think about too much. But
Sure.
What are we going to be talking about today?
Well, today we're going to be talking a little bit about meditation and a little bit more about yoga.
Yoga, yeah. So a little story. I did yoga. You were there.
I was there. I witnessed it.
I did it for the first time. You, at a place downtown here, you ran an event. It was called Black Metal Yoga.
Yes.
And we played heavy metal music.
Exactly what it sounds like. Yep.
And I did yoga for the first time. I was definitely out of my comfort zone.
It's always a good thing to push out of your comfort zone a little bit.
And I was wearing blue jeans.
That was unique. I don't know that I've ever seen anyone wear blue jeans in a yoga class, but you did it.
Yeah.
And that's really, truly all that matters.
And it didn't even hurt that much.
That's great.
Yeah. It makes me want to do it again.
Did you rip your jeans?
Not so much.
Okay.
But it was interesting.
Yeah.
So, you are into this yoga thing a little bit.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I've had 3 or 4 years of experience doing yoga fairly regularly. I even spent a week in Tulum, Mexico, and it was sort of a yoga retreat of sorts. Not an official yoga retreat, but I did yoga 5 days straight, sometimes twice a day.
Oh my!
So yeah, I've also have someone near and dear to me that is a yoga instructor. So if I'm not doing it by way of her, it's something I'm involved in. So
that's great. Well, we thought that this would be an interesting topic this time of year as people are kind of trying to, center themselves and start the new year right. So we brought in an expert today. And Carol is with us today. Welcome to the show, Carol.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very happy to have this opportunity to come in and talk about subjects that are very near and dear to me as well.
And you help us all out with becoming more healthy and all sorts of stuff in our department. What is your position here, and what kind of things do you do?
Sure. So I'm a nurse here. I work in prevention and community health, specifically with the It's Your Life program. So I'm involved in coaching people around creating healthy goals. And I also do all of the tobacco treatment here for Jackson County. So again, promoting wellness and health. So yeah. And boy, it sounds like you're the expert over there, Andrew.
Well,
in this yoga stuff. I don't know.
By no means. I've done a bit of yoga, but I'm no expert.
Oh, well, we're just here to talk about it and bring bring the topic up to discuss and kind of let more people know about it and give a kind of a healthcare perspective, how it's actually healthy for you. So
absolutely.
Carol, what are some of the benefits of yoga?
Of yoga, sure. And I will definitely get into that. I'd like to know when we say yoga, what might you think of? Just so maybe I could get a sense of
Sure.
Our audience might be asking that too.
Yeah. You're asking what we think of.
Yeah.
Well, initially I got into yoga because I had injured my back. So initially I kind of thought of it as a physical practice to strengthen my core, muscles that would help prevent my back from getting re-injured.
Yeah. And I had to think about this for a second. I'm not used to getting the tables turned here. Carol's asking the questions today. This is nice.
Yeah.
I don't know, yoga. I mean, I envision rolling out a mat and doing the yoga, wearing probably yoga pants instead of blue jeans. But that's my initial idea of what yoga is. But like most things, I imagine it can be more than that or less than that or just a variety of things. So what What would you say yoga is?
Yeah. So that's a fairly typical, I guess, westernized view of what yoga is. I mean, there's writings about yoga as far back as 200 BC in the Gita. And in when I say the Eastern culture, India specifically. And yoga comes from a word, Y-U-G. And basically it means to yoke, to attach, to form a union or a communion. So yoga, Gandhi defines it as like an equilibrium between mind, body, and spirit within yourself, which then you form your whole with your maker. So it actually has its roots in religion. It's a way to become very spiritual and to, again, have that relationship with your maker. And by doing that, you dispel any pain and sorrow, and you gain all happiness and peace.
Yeah. Occasionally, Kate, my partner, she will refer to going to yoga as going to church for her.
Absolutely.
So I know she says it in a humorous way, but it also actually applies. That's cool.
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of the, like you said, wearing the yoga clothes, not the jeans, the mat, bare feet, that is and doing the postures or the asanas are basically, that part that we really focus on, the asana and the pranayama, which is the breath, right? So that's what we kind of have extrapolated from that part. Pretty much my training has been in Iyengar yoga, which is similar to Hatha yoga, and it's just multiple different paths to the same end, basically. So I have been to some of the more popular classes, like the vinyasa, which is your yoga flow. It combines a lot of the asanas together. Have not been to a hot yoga. I hear it's 104 degrees, like 40% humidity. And actually in traditional yoga, you should be out of the sun for at least a couple hours before you practice. So it's a little different, very different. But again, and it's been around, like vinyasa since the 80s. So it's new. But I think what has happened, like you said, people began realizing that there are some wonderful health benefits to yoga. In the initial practice, BKS Iyengar found that and just from his experience, he treated people with COPD, asthma, digestive problems, pulmonary problems. And if you look at some of the research, it does not say, like from the NIH, National Institute on Health, particularly the subset of the complementary health. They basically say that they can't prove that yoga does change your health, but that it can promote your health. And in the surveys that they have done, 86% of the people say that it does decrease their stress. People with
that's big.
With people with back pain, digestive issues, musculoskeletal issues definitely benefit. Also, people suffering from cancer become psychologically and physically, they feel healthier. And people with asthma have reported, more lung capacity. So there are definite health benefits, physically and mentally as well, with feeling better stress-wise.
Yeah.
That's cool. So that kind of goes into our next question here. We were wondering how, like, the health benefits of yoga and meditation, how they kind of match up. But from what you're saying, it sounds like meditation is part of yoga. Correct.
A lot of times in yoga, in a 90-minute class, you'll end with 15 minutes, and you'll do like a Baddha Konasana, which is a restorative, kind of laying on your back with some props, and you kind of close your eyes, and you can use that time.
I like to call it nap time.
Exactly.
After 75 minutes of a yoga class.
It's
perfect.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And actually, you do wake up, at least I do, and you're supposed to, it's said that you should feel pretty rested and a little bit more energized. So, again, with the meditation, there are many different ways to meditate. I think the one that we talk about a lot here is the mindfulness, right? Which is, and again, it goes back to the teachings of yoga with, it's a way of getting control of your mind, because our mind is pretty restless and it goes in all different directions unless we're sleeping. So we're finding that spot right there where we can focus and just clear our minds, and we get that control. And if we can have that control, then we decide how we respond, and we decide what type of stress we're going to have. So, very much tied in.
That's great.
Yeah. It's interesting how much breathing plays a role in getting to that state of meditation.
Right, absolutely. And definitely when you are doing a meditation, it's all focus on the breath. At that point, you're not focusing on your movements, although you can do walking or movement meditations, but a lot of times you're just sitting still. And you are just focusing on your breath, the inhalation, the exhalation. You can work on and breath retention as well, and really harnessing the capacity of your brain.
Great. That's good to know, because I'm not naturally the most flexible person, but yoga does have some benefits for, like, the other side, the actual physical benefits of yoga.
Absolutely. It helps with balance, strength, flexibility, and even if you're not very flexible, it helps to decrease that stiffness, and over time in practice it does increase your agility. And specifically in the yoga that I am accustomed to, there are many props. Okay. There's blocks and bolsters and blankets and bands and neck rest. So there's all different props that you can use, so that if you can only reach down to your knee, that's okay. We'll put blocks there. And then eventually we take blocks out a little bit at a time so that you can get to palms flat on the floor.
I think I had 3 blankets when I did it.
Right. You needed a bit of help and support.
I needed quite a bit of support.
It was all right, though. That was your first session. I think that's good for people to hear.
I fell over only once.
Yes.
Rolled over.
I didn't see it, but I heard it. And I'm glad no one was hurt. But that is really good for people just starting off or wanting to take a first class, just to know that there's all types of levels, and if you're just starting, there's props to help you. That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, one of those where, at least my instructors always said, you should never feel pain. So if something isn't feeling right, and she can just tell, Carol, I think you need an extra blanket on this one. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that does feel good. Because if you ever feel any particular soreness or uneasiness after a yoga move, it's probably perhaps you weren't doing it correctly.
Right. So I was, there was one, I don't even remember what it was, but then Kate was walking by and she adjusted my foot a little, and I was like, oh, that doesn't even really hurt now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I wasn't watching, but you had mentioned you really enjoyed the one it's a pigeon pose.
Okay.
It's a nice stretch of like the hip and hamstring.
Oh, yeah.
And I think you that was one that I think you were made to do, because you said you nailed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
My foot
nice.
wasn't pointed very in the right direction.
Well, that's okay.
That's a great description of yoga and how beginners can get into it. We actually did a video, didn't we, Andrew?
We did. Actually, why don't you throw that link in the description?
All right. You can watch Kate demonstrate some yoga.
Sure.
She helped me, so she might as well help you guys too. But thinking of other things about my experience, I know jeans probably aren't the best thing to. You should probably never wear jeans. But what are some of the things you should wear while doing yoga? What helps you? What kind of gets you in that groove?
Sure, absolutely. I think at least for me in my practice, shorts and just like a small little T-shirt. I mean, you can wear like the yoga pants that are the longer. I find that it kind of gets in my way of doing poses. Plus, it's also easier for the teacher to see my structure and to be able to come in and help me out with that. You know, a mat and bare feet. It's an activity you do in your bare feet.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm comfortable in just sweatpants, sometimes rolled up, and then either a hoodie or a T-shirt, depending on how comfortable I'm feeling with myself on that given day. But it's definitely important, I think, to just feel at peace with what you're wearing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it helps you to focus in on a big aspect of yoga, too, is it helps you to learn to cherish your body. I mean, it's so easy to look and pick apart all the different things about the way we look, but it really teaches you to respect and to love and to cherish, you know, your body, and it's actually very helpful in people with eating disorders because it helps them to form a better relationship with their body.
Yeah,
a lot of benefits.
That's
great. So how long do you have to practice yoga before you start to see these benefits?
Right. So, I mean, you were perfect at the pigeon after the first one. So, you know,
perfect pigeon.
That's
perfect for me.
Pretty amazing. So, with more practice, the more you gain the better feelings. But you can come out of yoga after one class and just feel rested and yet energized, just grounded, centered. Right?
I think I'm thinking back to one of my first few classes, and without even knowing what I was doing, mentally, I felt a lot better. Physically, truthfully, I felt sore the next day.
Okay.
But right after that class, mentally, I felt like just soothed and kind of slowed down, and it was great.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have any questions, Andrew?
Well, I was just curious what Carol's favorite part of yoga. You listed a ton of benefits. I mean, what for your own yoga practice, what is sort of the pinnacle of that yoga session? What's your favorite part?
Well, I mean, the Baddha Konasa, right?
Yeah.
When you're the restorative, and at the end of 16 weeks, we always do just a complete restorative class. I like the challenge of the inversions, and I have not accomplished them with zero props.
Yeah.
But again, it's that pushing myself outside the box to be able to get to that. But definitely that feeling of just being connected with myself, and it's just very grounding, centered, light. I just feel like I got a massage, but I just did this all by myself.
Yeah, right.
So I didn't need, I needed my instructor, trust me, but I didn't need, to go pay for a massage. So
that's great. So is this always stuff that you do in a class, or are there things that you can do, like I hear some people talking about doing yoga at work, or just like every day in the morning, or what kind of things can we easily do to get into that mindset?
Absolutely. So once you are familiar with some of the postures, they're definitely, it behooves you to practice them on a daily basis. So you can practice them in the morning. That is when your mind is most alert. Your body is more stiff. But your mind is most alert, so you can practice especially harder ones. And then in the evening, your body is much more relaxed, but your mind is not alert, so that could be more of your kind of, your practice time. So either one whatever works into your schedule. And certainly at work, you can take positions. I mean, I think that is where you can, I love the mountain pose, definitely. I'll even close the door and do a downward dog. I mean, just, and it takes how long? You can hold the pose for as long as you'd like, but it's there's great twists that you can do in your chair to help with back because we're kind of leaning over, and great shoulder type exercises as well. So yeah, you can take it wherever you go, Tulum, wherever.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah,
and you had talked about how yoga kind of is more than just the physical. It affects you mentally.
Yes.
What are some things that you appreciate about meditation?
So about meditation, definitely it is, again, something that I try hard to practice on a daily basis. Sometimes I don't, but that is definitely a goal. I use it in times of when I'm feeling disconnected, if I'm feeling maybe frustrated or irritated or stressed, just taking a few breaths, mindful breaths, counting in, 1, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1, can really change my mood. And there's this science that says it's changing your neural pathways so that you're hopefully becoming more of that, again, peace, happiness, compassion, and kindness. So, if I could share a little bit of my meditation with you.
I could do that.
I could use that today,
okay.
to be honest with you.
We just want to make sure our listeners are not driving or operating heavy machinery while listening to this.
Absolutely.
Excellent. And another, just to put that out there, right, before you do any type of activity, you always check with your primary care physician, right?
Absolutely.
So with meditation and mindfulness, I just learned this at a conference, that if you hold mindfulness at the center and you are practicing your mindfulness on a continuous basis, it helps us as a provider, right? So that we are working with more resiliency rather than burnout. It helps us with our patience, okay? If we're more mindful, we'll be more safe rather than creating more errors. And then with ourselves, too. We will be more kind and more compassionate with ourselves. Therefore, we can be more compassionate and kind with our patients or our coworkers or whoever we come into contact with. So I think just a good meditation to tie into de-stressing and practicing that kindness and compassion is one that I learned in a resiliency class with our very own Dr. Morgerman. He has done quite a bit of work in this area, and he shared with us his meditation, which is intended to spread kindness and compassion, especially if we're frustrated with a conflict at work. And it is to, if you want to just kind of close your eyes, put your feet flat on the floor, palms up, if you feel comfortable. And in your mind, think of somebody that either inspires you or that you love. And with the picture of this person in your mind, say to them, may you be safe, may you be healthy, may you be happy, may you live in peace, and may you live with ease. And now perhaps think of a person to whom you feel neutral, maybe someone you just kind of have seen here or there, maybe even a stranger. And with them in mind, say the same thing. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you live in peace. And may you live with ease. And then think of perhaps someone that you have had maybe a difficult time with. Picture that person and say to them, may you be safe, may you be healthy, may you be happy, may you live in peace, and may you live with ease. Namaste.
Wow. That was great.
Yeah, that was nice. I'd like to go back there if I could.
Yeah.
Anytime you want.
Yeah, that's
Anytime
true.
you want, you can go back there.
That's great.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for being on the show, Carol.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure talking
Yep.
with both of you.
And if anyone listening to this would like to find out more about our podcast,
Sure.
you can always go to henryford.com/podcast and find out how to subscribe to get new episodes as soon as they're released. Also, find us on Facebook, and you can submit your own topics for us to discuss, and we'll definitely take a look at those. So thanks for listening, and thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.